A caller into Rush Limbaugh's show expressed a sentiment that I fear might be pretty common around the country right now. Watch this.
Hi, Rush. It's great to be here. I'm going to try to hold myself together, not get emotional here, but I want to harken back to your statement about Georgia and about the Trump voter.
Yeah.
And they should be very afraid, very afraid. Trump and you are all we have left, Rush. We've spent our lives voting for these people because they're not them. And we just can't do it anymore. We're tired of being stabbed in the back, Rush. It's better to have an enemy that's in front of you than a friend that's behind you that's just going to stab you. They do it every time. We have a Republican-controlled state, and they won't do an audit of the vote. They won't. They just basically told every Georgian that they don't care. We were in Washington on Saturday. Me and my 33-year-old son, we saw more people than we've ever seen in our lifetime, ever. And we're season ticket holders for the Ravens, for God's sakes. I've been in crowds of 80,000 people. I've been to Steelers games, for goodness sakes. I have never seen so many people, but were there any Republicans there? No. None. None. But
wait. What? There were no What was this thing that you went to?
A week ago Saturday in Washington, D.C., the mega rally. There must have been hundreds of thousands.
Okay, it's a MAGA rally, and you mean no elected Republicans? Is that what you mean?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Our party leadership, quote unquote, if this were a Democrat rally, they would all be there. They were there for the anti-Tea Party movement, walking hand in hand up the steps.
Yep.
No one stands for us, Rush. Only you and Donald Trump. God forbid. What do we have left? I love my president. I am not a revolutionary, Rush, but I will die for my president. This man has given more to this country than anybody, and he has no need to. None. He's a billionaire. He doesn't need this.
That's exactly right.
Somebody willing to die for Donald Trump. You have to ask yourself, how many of these people are out there? How many of these people are out there? You know, we have a sense of what percentage of the Republican Party are diehard Trump people. It's about 40% of the Republican base is just anything Trump says. They're like, hell yeah. But what percentage are really believe this deep down? Because that's another level. That's next level. I don't know the answer, but I'm kind of scared to know. And the other thing is, do you believe him? I don't know. Maybe he thinks he would like die for Trump, but would he actually? I don't know. But just the fact that he would even utter those words, oh, that's extremely disturbing. Extremely disturbing. By the way, he acts like nobody's out there fighting for us and fighting for Trump, and this election is stolen. Guys, we just went through the details of it, okay? The Trump campaign and other Republican interests filed 36 different election lawsuits. You want to know what happened? 24 of them have been denied, dismissed, settled, or withdrawn. And in 9 cases, Trump and his team of lawyers voluntarily dismissed the case. No court has found a single instance of voter fraud. So this is a fantasy. People are being fed misinformation, lies, nonsense on right-wing media, and they believe it, and then they think like, you know, there's a really grand conspiracy. And by the way, the Republican politicians, they're mad that the Republican politicians aren't more on the record saying like Trump won and stuff. What they're doing is sufficiently cowardly and absurd. They're not saying anything. There's a few Republicans who've come out and said, like, this is nonsense, he lost. Mitt Romney being one of them, Chris Christie being another one. But a lot of the elected Republicans are just being quiet because they don't want to piss off the base because they know Trump has the base of the party. And so that's sufficiently cowardly, that's sufficiently ridiculous. But even that's not enough for these people. They want the Republicans to, go all in like Trump is and just lie. Just lie. Just make arguments that he won even though he didn't. Arguments that are conjured up based off of Facebook memes or a segment on One America News Network or complete nonsense like there's a German supercomputer that found that Trump won over 400 electoral votes. By the way, this is what the far right-wing media has brought about. Imagine being so thoroughly brainwashed that you really think Donald Trump and Rush Limbaugh are fighting for you relentlessly. You know what they fight for? Corporate tax cuts. That's what they fight for. That's Trump's signature accomplishment is the 2017 tax cut law, where 83% of the benefits went to the richest 1% of the country. And it cut the corporate tax rate as well, and it incentivized outsourcing. So really what happened with a lot of the hardcore Trump people, let's be honest, man, they fell in love with his persona. They fell in love with like the image of Trump. That's what they did. They've been duped. They've been had. That there's this guy who like takes no shit and is crusading and fighting for you. And really a lot of Trumpism is also attributable to the fact that the people that Trump hates are the people that these people hate. So they see somebody who's channeling that and it makes them like him. So it comes down to the culture war in a very clear way, in a very obvious way. And people have been duped, man. I tell you guys all the time, so many people have been lost on that battlefield of the culture war and are willing to support people who are against their own material interests and well-being because they fell into the trap of the culture war. And I think a lot of it comes down to that. They hate Hollywood. They hate, elites who kind of look down their nose at them, and they feel like Trump and Rush Limbaugh, even though these people super serve the elites, super serve the establishment, give tax cuts to the wealthy, they view these guys, for whatever reason, as standing in opposition to the people they hate, and so there's the unyielding support. So it's still disturbing, though, every time I hear it. I mean, again, I would love to have seen the development of this dude's mindset from the beginning. How did you get to this point where you're convinced Donald Trump is such a fighter for you that you would die for him? How did you get to this point? How did you get to this point? Walk me through it. Show me how we arrived here. Power of propaganda, man. Power of propaganda, power of good PR on the part of Trump. And you're going to have a large contingent of this country that will forever be convinced that this election, which wasn't even close, was stolen. It was stolen. But this also speaks to the fracture in the Republican Party and the coming civil war that I alluded to over the past few shows. That you are going to have the Mitt Romney wing of the party versus the Donald Trump wing of the party, the elitist wing of the party versus the more, working class wing of the party. I think the Trump side of that Republican Civil War will be the middle and lower income Republican voters. And it could get ugly. It could get ugly. Just like the Democratic Civil War has been ugly, this could get really ugly. And I'll be watching it all unfold, that's for sure.